The text message was only 3 words long. Blue Willow 7. To anyone else it would have looked meaningless, but my hands started shaking the moment I saw it because 20 years earlier my sister Emma and I had created a secret distress code. We promised never to use it unless one of us was truly afraid. Emma was not dramatic. She never asked for help unless she absolutely had to. That was why my heart immediately dropped. I called her phone but there was no answer. I called again and again but nothing. Then another message appeared saying, "Everything is fine, don't worry." The moment I read it I knew she had not written it. Emma never texted like that. Something felt wrong. Deeply wrong. My mind immediately went to her husband Ryan. Everyone loved him. Everyone trusted him. At family dinners he was charming. At holidays he was generous. Around strangers he looked like the perfect husband. But I had never fully believed the image he showed the world. Over the last year Emma had slowly changed. Her laughter became smaller. Her phone calls became shorter. Her smile never quite reached her eyes anymore. Whenever I asked if she was okay she always said yes and quickly changed the subject. Now I finally understood why. The distress code wasn't simply a request for help. It was a warning. Something had happened and she was scared enough to break a promise we had kept for 2 decades. Ryan thought I was harmless. He thought I was just the quiet sister who stayed away from family problems. What he didn't know was that once someone I loved was in danger I never stopped until I found the truth. The next morning I drove straight to Emma's house. Ryan opened the door with a confident smile and acted surprised to see me. He said Emma was tired and resting but something immediately felt off. The house was quiet in a way that didn't feel normal. A few moments later Emma appeared in the hallway. She smiled when she saw me but her eyes told a different story. They looked exhausted and afraid. During my visit Ryan stayed close to her the entire time. Every answer she gave sounded carefully chosen. Every movement felt watched. When I finally stood up to leave Emma hugged me tightly and slipped something into my hand. I didn't look at it until I reached my car. It was a grocery receipt. On the back she had written 4 words. Check the office safe. My pulse started racing. That evening I contacted an old friend who worked in investigations. Together we started digging into Ryan's finances. What we found shocked me. There were hidden accounts, unexplained transfers, and large amounts of money moving through places they should never have been. The deeper we looked the worse it became. Ryan had secretly used Emma's assets to secure loans and investments without fully telling her what he was doing. If his plans failed she could lose almost everything. Her savings, her inheritance, and even her home. Suddenly years of strange behavior started making sense. Emma wasn't trapped by fear alone. She was trapped by manipulation. Ryan had spent years convincing her she couldn't survive without him while quietly risking everything she owned. 3 days later Emma called me while Ryan was away. She was crying so hard she could barely speak. Then she whispered something that changed everything. She said, "He knows I sent the code." In that moment I realized waiting was no longer an option. Ryan had spent years controlling the story but now the truth was finally in my hands. A month later Ryan hosted a large family gathering and acted like everything was normal. He laughed with relatives and told stories while Emma sat quietly beside him. But this time something was different. She knew what was coming. Halfway through dinner Ryan stood and raised a glass. He smiled proudly and thanked everyone for supporting his family. Then I stood up and placed a thick folder on the table. The room instantly became silent. Ryan's smile disappeared. Inside that folder was every document, every transfer, every hidden account, and every secret he thought nobody would ever discover. At first he tried to laugh it off. Then he tried explaining. Then he started denying everything. But facts don't disappear simply because someone refuses to face them. One by one his excuses collapsed. Family members who had trusted him for years stared at him in disbelief. For the first time, Ryan looked exactly how he had made Emma feel for so long. Exposed, powerless and alone. Then Emma stood up. She didn't scream. She didn't argue. She simply looked at him and walked away. A few months later, the divorce was finalized. Emma slowly rebuilt her life, and with each passing week the fear disappeared from her eyes. Her smile returned, and so did the person I remembered from years ago. Sometimes I think back to that text message. Blue Willow 7. 3 simple words that changed everything. Ryan thought I was harmless. He thought I would stay silent. He thought nobody would notice what he was doing. But he underestimated the bond between two sisters. In the end, the greatest victory was not watching him lose everything. It was watching Emma finally get her life back. Sometimes justice is not about revenge. Sometimes it is simply about answering when someone you love asks for help.